I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of Pistons Talk Podcast presented by FanDuel. We're going to do something a little bit different in tonight's episode. We're going to be reacting to Bleacher Report's 99 best defenders of all time. There were Detroit Pistons that cracked the list, so we'll get into the Pistons that made the list first, since this is a Detroit Pistons podcast. But we'll also be going over the 99 best defensive players of all time. Made a graphic for that as well. So if you guys want to follow along, be a part of the conversation, watching this on YouTube right now, it'd be really cool if you guys did. But let's get into today's podcast episode. Let's start with the Pistons that were ranked in this list. So we're going to start with the players that were ranked the lowest to the players that were ranked the highest for the Detroit Pistons side. So as you guys can see, Bill Laimbeer was ranked 80th in this list. Rasheed Wallace at 73rd. Tayshaun Prince at 52nd. Joe Dumars at 44th. Dennis Rodman 7th, cracking the top 10. And Ben Wallace 5th, cracking the top 5. So those were the 6 Pistons that made the list. Now, I could argue the Pistons should have more than 6 players on this list. That's just me. Obviously, I get trying to compile a list of the 99 best defensive players of all time. Maybe it's a little bit of Pistons bias leaking out for me, but I feel like we could have more than 6. But hey, we're going to get into the full list because I saw a lot of you guys say, who are the 4 better defenders than Ben Wallace? Show me, I'll wait. Who are the 7 better defenders than Dennis Rodman? Show me, I'll wait. I honestly think Dennis Rodman should be higher on this list. I could make a case for Ben Wallace to be higher on this list as well. But I love you guys. As soon as I posted the graphic on Twitter and Instagram, a lot of you guys are like, "Yeah, right. Like, show me the 4 better defenders than Ben Wallace." But here's the list, you guys. We're gonna get into it. All 99. We made a graphic for you guys to follow along. So, best defender, according to Bleacher Report, is Bill Russell. He's at number 1. Second is Tim Duncan. Third is Kevin Garnett. Fourth is Hakeem Olajuwon. And Ben Wallace comes in at 5. So I could make a case. I don't think Tim Duncan should be in the top 5. That's just me. I think you could still have him in the top 10. I just don't think he should be top 5. I think you could also have Dennis Rodman in the top 5, if you do ask me. But those are the top 5. Bill Russell, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Hakeem Olajuwon, Ben Wallace. 6 through 10. Dikembe Mutombo, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green. Again, I think it's subjective of how you guys rank who's the best. I think Scottie Pippen also has a case for being higher. Rudy Gobert, to me, I'm just going to tell you guys a funny story. So as soon as I saw his name in the top 10, I immediately thought of Rasheed Wallace, and I'll explain to you why I thought of Rasheed Wallace. And you're probably thinking, like, why did you think of Rasheed Wallace when you saw Rudy Gobert? So when Sheed had a podcast with Underdog Fantasy with Bonzi Wells, I remember a segment of them talking about why they felt he's the weakest defensive player of the year because he's had multiple DPOYs. They just don't think he's kind of in the same conversation as like a Ben Wallace, Dwight Howard, Hakeem Olajuwon, right? So as soon as I saw Rudy crack the top 10, I thought of Rasheed Wallace straight away. Shout out to Sheed. Mrs. Podcast, by the way. Kind of sucks what Underdog is doing with all these podcasts right now. Like, Gil is no longer part of Gil's arena. It's just this crazy times if you guys want to go down a rabbit hole with Underdog Fantasy and what's going on over there. But Rudy Gobert's at number 9, Draymond Green at 10. I don't have a problem with Draymond Green being a 10. I mean, he's been part of the Golden State Warriors dynasty and has kind of been their Scottie Pippen in a sense. It's not the same scoring production, but that's the top 10. Again, Bill Russell 1, Tim Duncan 2, Kevin Garnett 3, Hakeem Olajuwon 4, Ben Wallace 5, Dikembe Mutombo 6, Dennis Rodman 7, Scottie Pippen 8, Rudy Gobert 9, and Draymond Green 10. So that's the top 10 best defenders of all time, according to Bleacher Report. I want to take a little sip of water, and then we'll go over 11 through 30 next with this graphic. Okay. So coming in at number 11 is David Robinson from the Spurs. I'm sure you guys remember him. He had probably the coolest nickname, the Admiral. I just think that's a badass nickname. Kawhi Leonard comes in at number 12. Dwight Howard comes in at 13. Gary Payton, talk about nicknames, the glove. He's always getting steals. Low key is like a fire nickname. He's at 14. Michael Jordan, the GOAT, at 15. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 16. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 17. Wilt Chamberlain, 18, which was kind of surprising to see Giannis ranked above Wilt, but that was like the one surprise to me when I saw that. Uh, Anthony Davis, 19. Alonzo Mourning, 20. I'm not calling him Meta. It's Ron Artest at 21. You can change your name all you want. You're still Ron Artest to me. Still see you jumping up in the crowd, beating a fan, beating up the wrong fan, and getting pop thrown on you. But yeah, Ron Artest at 21. LeBron James at 22. Tony Allen at 23. Bruce Bowen at 24. Bobby Jones, excuse me, at 25. Mark Eaton at 26. Sydney, I can't really read the text on that. Sydney, I'm gonna butcher this last name. Monsi, Monsief, Cincy Monsief. I probably butchered that. I apologize, you guys. Michael Cooper at 28, Chris Paul at 29, and Nate Thurman at 30. I think the biggest surprise for me is Wilt Chamberlain at 18. I think he could be higher in this list. Also believe that David Robinson has a case to crack the top 10. That's just me, but even Ron Artest, now I'm looking at it, like, I feel like he could easily be in, top 15 conversations, but that's just me. I apologize, Sydney, for butchering your last name. I really do. Let's go over 31 through 50. So 31 is John Havlicek. 32 is Jason Kidd. 33 is Marcus Camby. 34, I want Iguodala. Shout out to Max Kellerman, Andre Iguodala. That to me is still like an all timer, and it's so weird seeing ESPN with all these cutoffs. Like, saw a report today that Pat McAfee's going to make $60 million. He's getting like NBA type of money, but shout out to Pat. But I saw Ryan Clark lost his job. But as soon as I see like Iguodala, I think of Max Kellerman all the time. Drew Holiday, 35. Sorry for the rambling, you guys. Victor Wembanyama already cracking 36. He's already cracking top fit. He's already in the top 50, man. Like, that's crazy to think about. But if he keeps having the seasons that he had like last past season, he'll probably crack like top 20 next year. Like, that's just crazy to think about. Elvin Roberson at 37, Bam Adebayo at 38, Andre Karolinko at 39, Walt Frazier at 40, Joakim Noah at 41, Kobe Bryant at 42, which kind of think he's I feel like Kobe could definitely be in the high 20s, but hey, that's just me. Tyson Chandler at 43, Joe Dumars at 44, like we mentioned earlier. Dennis Johnson at 45, Patrick Ewing at 46, Jimmy Butler at 47, Marcus Saul at 48, Sean Marion at 49, and Jerry Sloan at 50. Now, with the 31 to 50, I think you could make a case for Iguodala to be in the 20s. I think you could make a case for Joakim Noah to be a little bit higher because he was a pretty good defender in his heyday. And Kobe, obviously, you could make a case for him as well. But I don't really have too much of a debate with anyone else really in this list. Even Drew Holiday, I think you can make a case. He's at least in the low 30s to high 20s. But let me know what you guys think of the list so far, 1 through 50, with the best defenders of all time. We're going to be going over 51 through 70 next. So 51, Maurice Cheeks, former Pistons coach. You guys remember the Mo Cheeks era. You guys are diehard fans. I remember watching it, and I was like, there's no way this guy's going to make it throughout the year, and he didn't. He didn't. Tayshaun Prince is at 52. My eyes are just really bad today. Norm Van Leer is at 53. Marcus Smart is at 54. David I'm probably going to butcher his name. I know he played for the Pistons and the Knicks. Dave DeBuschiere, he's at 55. Bill Walton, 56. John Stockton, 57. Shane Battier, 58. Jaren Jackson Jr., I know he won a Defensive Player of the Year, but kind of having him in like the top 50 is kind of crazy to me. But hey, that's just me. Kevin McHale at 60. Excuse me. Manute Bull at 61. Rajon Rondo at 62. Horace Grant at 63. Serge Ibaka at 64. Charles Oakley at 65. Mookie Baylock at 66. Dwayne Wade at 67. Jerry West at 68. Buck Williams at 69. And Larry Bird at 70. I think in the 51 through 70 ranking, I could argue Tayshaun could be in the high 40s. I could argue that Jaren Jackson Jr. has no place in this ranking. I think if you do rank him, it's probably like high 80s, low 90s. Manute Bol was a really good defender. He was tall as hell, though. Some others, like I think Oak could be a little bit higher, but it's just kind of nitpicky by me at this point. But 51 through 70, we'll go over 71 through 90 next. Shaquille O'Neal comes in at 71. Paul George at 72. Rasheed Wallace at 73. Doug Christie at 74. Alex Caruso at 75. Brooke Lopez at 76. Artis Gilmore at 77. Evan Mobley at 78. Only player from Cade's draft class to actually make this list, which is kind of surprising. Scotty Barnes didn't even make the list. Nate McMillan, 79. Bill Laimbeer at 80. David Cohen's at 81. Andrew Bogut at 82. Paul Silas at 83. Chet Holmgren at 84. Paul Pressey at 85. OG Anunoby at 86. Theo Ratliff at 87. Wes Unseld at 88. Derek White, Eric's favorite player, at 89. And Willis Reed at 90. So I feel like the 70 to 90 range has a lot of players that I think could be rated like much higher. Like, I think right off the bat, I think Bogut, even though he wasn't like a defensive player of the year candidate, I felt like he was a really good defender. I remember watching him in Milwaukee, and then when he was winning championships with Golden State, still a good defender. Like I think he could be a little bit higher. I also could make a case for OG Anunoby to be higher than 86. The guy's won 2 championships, much like Kawhi Leonard. And he's kind of viewed as one of the better 3-and-D wings in our league, if not one of the best. So I think OG could be a little bit higher. Theo Ratliff, you could also make a case, could be like mid 70s to low 70s. Brooke Lopez, he wasn't really like a lockdown defender. I know like during his Brooklyn days, he could protect the rim a little bit, even in his Milwaukee days too. But where he is right now, he's a stick. It's just straight up and down. He has no mobility left at all, and that's what happens when you're close to 40 still playing in the NBA. But 71 to 90 to me, I think actually has the most players where you could actually rate them higher or just completely kick them out of the top 100. 81 through, I'm sorry, 91 through 99. The font's kind of weird. 91 kind of looks like an 81 for whatever reason, but 91 is Joel Embiid. 92 is Don Shenny. 93, DeAndre Jordan. 94, Ben Simmons. 95, Elvin Hayes. 96, Karl Malone. 97, Eddie Jones. 98, Larry Nance. And 99, Don Boos. I think 91 through 99, the one player that I think could be rated higher is DeAndre Jordan. During his Clipper days, he was an absolute unit, protecting the rim and being a lob threat. I still remember the Brandon Knight poster. It still lives in my head rent free as a Piston fan. That's like the one highlight, like when that's the core of my when I was in high school, seeing that, I was like, man, I don't know how he's going to recover from that. I think you could make a case for Larry Nance to be a little bit higher too in this ranking. Joel Embiid at 91, I think, is very generous. I don't really remember him being like that good of a defender. Obviously, like at this stage of his career, he's got like no freaking knees left whatsoever. I think 91 is actually kind of generous. Still for me, like the I think the player that could be rated way higher, I think Tony Allen to me is a player that could be rated a little bit higher. Iguodala and Drew Holiday could be rated a little bit higher. I'm still just kind of like in shock that Wemby's already in like top 30 discussions for best defensive player of all time. But I think when you just kind of look at the unit that he is, it shouldn't really surprise any Pistons fans whatsoever that he's already considered like the 36th best defender of all time. And he's just getting started. But let me know what you guys think of this top 99 best defender player of all time. I want to hear from you guys with the Ben Wallace conversation because I definitely think he could be a little bit higher. Same with Rodman. If there's any other players that aren't Pistons or some Pistons that are in like Tayshaun, who I think could be a little bit higher in this list, or some that were left out like a Rick Mahorn or just others that weren't listed. I saw some Pistons fans mention Richard Hamilton, which Rip wasn't really a good defender until he came to Detroit. Like he was actually a pretty bad defender, but he kind of bought into the Larry Brown system and just like the message like around all his backcourt mate like Chauncey and Tayshaun and Ben and Sheed. So he became more of a above average defender because he kind of bought into like what they were preaching. But I think there should be some more Pistons in this top 99 list. But before we go, you guys, we have to hear from our sponsors over at the FanDuel Sportsbook. And right now, 2026, 2027 Detroit Pistons regular season win odds are out. And FanDuel has the Pistons set at 50.5, believe it or not. And for them to go over that, it's minus 105. And for them to go under that, it's minus 120. I've told you guys the past couple of days, like I personally have the Detroit Pistons over. And that might sound crazy, but the way this roster is set up, it's going to be a very good regular season roster. I'll be interested to see what does happen with the Duran stuff. Obviously, there was more news with that today, which I didn't want to discuss on the podcast because, like, you know what? They're probably sick of me talking about it. I'm sick of talking about it. I'm to the point where unless he's traded or unless we get intel that he's going to sign an extension with the Pistons, I think I'm just done talking about him in general. Just because I think it's just a tired topic. Now, I might have guests on and ask them what they think of it, but I'm done talking about it in general because I think it's just a tiresome topic. We've been talking about it for a month and we're almost going into August still. And there's still no resolution there. But I do think, kind of circling back to the 50.5 wins, this team could win over 50 games this year. Depends how the schedule is. Really does. I felt like we did get a little bit of an easier schedule to start the year, but it'll be interesting to see the TV schedule, how many games the Detroit Pistons are going to get with back-to-back, stuff like that. I did get a word that preseason games will be October 15th, like around that timetable. And then we'll get more indication with that. Only reason why I saw that is because I got an email from one of my ticket reps and they were already trying to sell me tickets. And I was like, I don't know. I want to see the schedule first before I buy, maybe a package, a 10-game package or season tickets this year. But let me know down below in the comment section with this top 99 list. Again, For you guys that don't remember, because we've been talking for over 20 minutes, these were the 6 Pistons that did crack the top 99. Again, you got Ben, Dennis, Joe Dumars, Tayshaun Prince, Rasheed Wallace, and Bill Laimbeer with the respective rankings. But talk to you guys probably later throughout the week. I don't know if we're going to be able to keep up these daily podcasts with content just becoming a little bit more difficult to come by. I might go back to doing like once a week podcast where we have a guest and it's a live stream. I feel like I haven't done a live stream with you guys, like a long one, probably since we had Sean on like in June, where we went for like over an hour and a half. But I'll talk to you guys down below in the comment section. Hope you guys have a great rest of the night. And as always, go Pistons. Peace.